So if there's anything I enjoy, it's a good resume. I made one, I don't remember it, so let's see what's inside. Wasn't the folder supposed to be blue?
Sonic 06.
I'm gonna hate the swear jar today, aren't I?
Sonic Unleashed, one of the greatest games made of all time, if you ignore everything bad about it. Sonic Unleashed started development in 2006, right after Sonic 06. Sonic Unleashed was released for the PS3 and Xbox 360 in 2008. No PC release?
Oh, I see why now.
The developers of Sega Team were using a new engine to use with the Sonic series called the Hedgehog engine, which basically gives you the modern style of the games we see today.
Now, of course, one thing There we go. Now, of course, one thing I do gotta mention.
Originally in development, this game was supposed to be the final Sonic Adventure game in the Sonic Adventure line, the third adventure game after they skipped out quite a bit. Would the game even have the title Sonic World Adventure, and then changed to Sonic Unleashed? Not Japan, though, because they thought it was funny.
Ha!
The idea of multiple characters to play as was scrapped in this game because they needed to focus on gameplay quality rather than more variety. And also in development, the idea of a werehog character was brought up for newer players. If they wanted them to hate it, they achieved it.
So there's only a few questions I have for this game. Why is Sonic a werewolf? Why does he have stretchy arms? Why is he slow and clunky? Why am I still playing this?
One thing around the time Super Mario Galaxy was released prior to Sonic Unleashed. That's normal for Mario. When a new Sonic game comes out, it scares me. Sonic Unleashed has two different play styles, the normal Sonic in the daytime, and a boring, slow hack and slash button masher that is the nighttime. The story goes that you're getting to foil Eggman's plans again, yet he has the upper hand. That's scary. Eggman drains all your power, sends you flying down towards the earth, turned into the creature of some sort, and then you land on a poor animal.
Well, I can see where this is going.
In the case of dementia, conspiracy theory number 1. Doctors made a deal with Sega. Going back to normal, boom, there you go. This completely revamped the entire gameplay of how Sonic games were, mixing fully 3D gameplay with 2D gameplay into a seamless experience. This is a true reboot that Sega was really needing. Sonic 06 should get the label removed. Sonic 06.
Here, this should cover for the next 2 days or so.
Was meant to be the big reboot that they were needing, a more serious game adults can get behind, and even kissing. Well, they made a worse game than Mythmakers. Yeah, I bet they regret that.
Not as much as this.
But in my opinion, I think Sonic Unleashed done very well. Here's the statistics. In this game, you basically travel across the world, put pieces of Earth back together. What really sucks is that in order for you to continue throughout the game is that you need to collect medals, both day and night medals. Daytime stages have more nighttime medals, nighttime stages have more daytime medals. And that's fine, only if the nighttime stages were not as long as a snail's race. Okay, let's play a game. What shape is this? A bad one.
So Sonic Unleashed kind of reminds me like a roller coaster, it goes up, down, crashes, and burns.
All locations across the globe are based on actual locations, yet they change the name
to avoid inaccuracies.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious in where the locations are, but it makes sense to avoid inaccuracy issues. The gameplay of Sonic Unleashed with Sonic is awesome. Sonic in the daytime feels flawless. Yeah, some moves don't do anything, but it doesn't matter on that one. The game brings a perfect balance of 2D and 3D and tight controls and loose controls for a relevant experience that will carry on in some future games. And when I mean some, I really mean some. One thing that really bothers me is with every single person as well, drifting can be a pain sometimes. Some stages are fine, they can use drifting sections, but they're wide enough turns where you don't have to worry about it. But then you get to areas like New York with incredibly tight turns. Yeah, I can see where this is going.
An uproar.
But let's take a look at some of the locations. Starting area is Windmill Isle, and it's a small town, nothing much to do. It fits perfectly for a beginning area of a Sonic game, mainly comprising of open fields as the first stage and small town for the rest. There's obviously nothing too crazy going on. On another completely different note, all the other places are totally fine.
Yeah, if I didn't know any better.
They have a perfect balance of open areas and platforming with easy and difficulty. Dragon Road may be a bit too much going on in my opinion, but what were we thinking with Skyscraper Scamper?
Definitely not Sonic.
This requires you to drift in order to get through the stage, but drifting is way too loose and you end up falling off the edge anyways. But back on track. Savannah Citadel is the next one you pretty much go to. This area is the first area that is featuring a boss fight. It's simple enough, you just run and hit him a bunch of times. This area is easier into the more difficult sections from here on out. The nighttime stages are abysmal.
And it took you this long to realize that?
I hate to break it to you, but they're just bad. A bunch of platforming involved, you can barely see your own shadow, and it's a perfect recipe for a failure. A bad one at that. I honestly really like the daytime stages in this one. They're at a fast pace, not too fast to mess you up if you make a wrong move. Rooftop Run is easily the best. Sure, the nighttime stages are as painful as ever, but the daytime stages is where the meat of Rooftop Run is. Correction, 99% of the game. Dragon Road is good, just cluttered. Full Edge is obviously one of the best locations if you ignore the slippery parts. Buried Sands is cool edge, but beige now. School Joyride takes forever in daytime now. And then finally, Eggman Land, the final area of the game that meant to test your skills, and is the only location in the game that lets you seamlessly switch between daytime and nighttime characters in the game. But there's only one problem I have.
No!
You have to pick your poison. That's right, nobody saw this coming. Finally, we get to see how modern Sonic looks like running on bread. Something must have happened for it to turn out to be like this. Sonic Unleashed was also released for the PS2 and Wii, sporting a very different playstyle than the PS3 and Xbox 360. Funny enough, these versions follow more what the development builds offer, and that's not a good thing. This game has confusing mechanics behind it.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Boost in the 360 version has you boosting just holding a boost button, but with the Wii and PS2, if you press that for a small, you press it again for another small one. All the locations are the same, but the stages are different. Nighttime stages are way quicker in this version, and the controls I absolutely hate. The controls don't really feel natural on the Wii remote, and the Wii Classic controller is the only thing closest to what you're going to get, and it still feels off. Both daytime and nighttime stages feel different from the 360 and PS3 versions. You're really pushing them by buttons, aren't you, Sega? Sonic Unleashed was also released for mobile phones at the time, and it's just like the Game Boy Advance Sonic games here. This still kind of follows the same overall plot as the console counterparts, but that is really the only similarity.
So of course, that's it for Sonic Unleashed. Not a good game, not a bad game, it was just okay. But of course, what does that mean for Sega? Well, they definitely seen better days.